Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today we're focusing on ReShape Lifesciences, that's ticker RSLS. We're looking at a bunch of recent reports and analysis you shared. You're keen to understand their key developments, where they sit in the market, and maybe their future potential in, well, the medical device and metabolic health space. Our job today is to unpack all of this and pull out the most important insights for you. I've got info on strategic moves, financials, the competition they face. So let's get right to it.
Okay, so ReShape Lifesciences. What's interesting, I think, is they're not just a one-trick pony. They operate in medical devices and metabolic health. They've got a few main things going on. There's a lap band 2.0 FLEX, that's the adjustable gastric band. It's actually available up in Canada now through Liaison Medical.
Right, the lap band, that's been their core thing for a while.
It has, but there's more. They have this diabetes neuromodulation technology, uses vagus nerve modulation, basically, to help control blood sugar. And that's patented, protected in Israel until 2039, which is quite a long runway.
Okay, neuromodulation for diabetes.
Yeah.
Interesting angle.
And then there's Stimul 03. This one's different. Again, it's an AI-driven device for neuromuscular rehab, think stroke recovery.
Yeah.
They developed that with motion informatics.
AI rehab.
Okay.
And I see they're also in the middle of a merger with Viome Therapeutics.
Yes, that's a big piece of the puzzle right now. Merging with Viome suggests they're looking to expand possibly into immunoinflammatory therapies.
Immunoinflammatory, that sounds like a totally different direction.
It is. It hints at broadening their scope significantly, but interestingly, they're still pushing their U.S. and India market expansion strategy alongside all this.
So, lots happening. Let's talk recent developments. April seemed busy, this neurorehabilitation expansion.
Right. The partnership with Motion Informatics. It's about distributing these AI-powered rehab devices in the U.S. That includes the Stimul 03, which already has FDA clearance, by the way.
Okay, FDA cleared. That's important.
And there's another one, Spatial Stimul MD, planned. It's supposed to have augmented reality integration. So this partnership is a pretty serious push into a new market for them. It's not just weight loss stack.
Got it. Also in April, there was a patent milestone. Something about intragastric balloons.
Ah, yes, the notice of allowance for a U.S. patent. That's significant because it bolsters their intellectual property, their IP, for their obesity treatments.
So it protects their existing stuff better?
Basically, yes. Helps fend off potential generic competition for those balloon systems down the road. Gives them a bit more security there.
Then in May, they presented some preclinical data on the diabetes neuromodulation device we mentioned.
Correct. They showcased that data at the Minnesota Neuromodulation Symposium. It sort of signals a deeper dive into metabolic health, maybe beyond just weight management.
More comprehensive metabolic approach.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember, back in February, they closed a $6 million public offering. Gives you an idea of their funding needs.
Right, the financing piece. So how does all this, the partnerships, the patents, the data, how does it impact their market position?
Well, these recent announcements probably gave them some positive momentum. The move into neurorehabilitation especially looks interesting. That's a huge global market. We're talking over $8 billion.
Wow, okay. Significant potential there.
Definitely. And like we said, stronger IP is always good. But, you can't ignore the competition in obesity treatments. It's fierce.
Novo Nordisk, Medtronic,
Yeah.
big players.
Precisely. Medtronic in bariatric surgery, Novo with GLP-1 drugs.
Yeah.
That intense competition might actually be why ReShape is diversifying so actively.
That makes sense. Spread the risk, find new growth areas.
What about the regulatory side? You mentioned FDA clearance for Stimul 03.
Yeah, and there's also the FDA's increasing focus on digital therapeutics. There is new cybersecurity guidance expected in July 2024, I believe. That kind of focus could actually be a positive for the motion informatics collaboration.
A supportive environment for their new tech, potentially?
Could be. It suggests the regulators are getting more comfortable with these kinds of AI-driven digital health solutions. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Financial health. You mentioned the $6 member raise. What else can we glean? We don't have the latest full quarterly numbers here, right?
No, not the very latest detailed figures. But the reliance on equity financing, like that offering, it does suggest ongoing cash burn. They needed that money for operations.
So spending more than they earn currently.
Likely, yes.
Hey.
But on the flip side, they did report a pretty significant drop in operating expenses year over year, about 41.9% down, if you exclude merger costs.
Okay, so some focus on efficiency there.
Seems like it. Looking historically, say from 2014 to 2023, their revenue has been volatile. That's not super unusual for medical device firms, especially developmental ones.
Hidden cash flow.
Free cash flow has typically been negative. Again, pretty standard for medtech companies still investing heavily in R&D and market development. The main thing is there's still not much visibility on when they might reach profitability. That's a potential concern.
Right. So thinking about competitors, again, you mentioned Medtronic and bariatric surgery. Who else should we consider?
Well, in obesity, besides Medtronic, you might look at companies involved in intragastric balloons, maybe someone like Apollo Endosurgery, though the landscape keeps shifting.
And how does ReShape try to stand out?
Their differentiation seems to be the combination. They have the established lap band, but now they're adding this AI rehab tech and the neuromodulation platform for diabetes. It's becoming a more diverse offering.
Plus the potential Viome merger adding another dimension.
Exactly. If that goes through, they could also be competing in the immunoinflammatory space. That really changes their profile.
Looking forward then, opportunities and risks. What jumps out?
Opportunity-wise, that global neuromodulation market is definitely one. It's estimated around $30 billion, growing at maybe 10% a year through 2030. That's substantial.
Okay, big market potential. And the risks.
The big one near term is executing that merger with Viome. It needs shareholder approval, and integration is always tricky. And liquidity, the need for cash, that seems like an ongoing theme. Remember, they filed for a $25 million equity line back in December.
So funding remains a key watch item. Any potential positive catalysts on the horizon?
A big one could be an FDA submission for that spatial Stymel MD device, the AR-enabled one, maybe late 2025. Also, getting more international patents granted, or further FDA clearances for products like Stymel 03 already being launched, those are all positive steps.
We also had some unverified social sentiment mentioned in the sources. What was the chatter about?
Right, the unverified stuff. The bull case, sort of, was that the merger creates this U.S.-India biotech connection, opens new doors, diversifies the pipeline away from just lap band, especially since they sold some assets earlier.
Makes sense as a potential upside story. And the bear case?
Mostly centered on those lingering liquidity worries, just concerns about whether they have enough cash to execute their plans. But again, treat that social chatter cautiously. The company's own filings also point out standard risks: merger success dependency, potential IP lawsuits, supply chain issues, the usual suspects for a company like this.
Understood. Okay, finally, valuation. It sounds tricky without clear earnings.
It really is. A standard P/E ratio, unavailable right now, debt to equity. You'd need to dig deep into the SEC filings for a current, accurate number. Price to book is likely low, probably under 1x, compared to industry peers, which might be more like 3x to 8x.
And dividends.
No dividend. That's not unusual for peers at this stage either. Beta, based on the stock's recent volatility, especially back in April, you'd infer it's high, probably over 2, very sensitive to market moves.
So, quite speculative. And return on equity.
Almost certainly negative given the lack of profitability so far.
Yeah.
Peers like Dexcom, for example, show positive ROE after they hit successful commercialization, but ReShape isn't there yet across its whole portfolio.
Okay, and what about stock drivers lately? Was it just the news flow?
Seems likely. The sources didn't point to massive social media hype, more that the stock reacted to tangible news, the patent allowance in April, the symposium presentation in May, maybe anticipation building around the AI rehab tech adoption.
And that April volatility was pretty wild, right?
Oh yeah, a huge spike, something like plus 246%, then a big pullback. Definitely indicates speculative interest is high around RSLS right now. Going forward, you'll really want to watch those SEC filings, especially post-merger details and how the Viome Holdings ticker eventually transitions.
Okay, so let's try to bring this all together. Our deep dive into ReShape Lifesciences, RSLS, really shows a company in a major strategic shift. They're weaving AI into neurohab, shoring up their patents in obesity, and signaling moves into broader metabolic health, maybe even immunoinflammatory therapies via the Viome merger.
There's a lot of transformation happening simultaneously.
Definitely. And while there are clear opportunities like that big neuromodulation market and potential catalysts like FDA submissions, you absolutely have to keep the risks in mind.
The ongoing need for financing and the execution risk tied to making that merger work smoothly. Those are key.
For a real-time view on how the stock's doing, you can always check Nasdaq.com RSLS. And for more detailed company updates, clinical trial info, their investor relations page is the place. That's rai.reshapelifesciences.com, press-releases. Keep an eye out for their upcoming Q1 filings, too. That should give a clearer financial picture.
Absolutely. Those filings will be critical.
We hope this breakdown has given you a clearer understanding of ReShape Life Sciences based on the info you shared with us. If you found this analysis helpful and you want us to dig into other companies like this, please do subscribe, like the video, and leave us a comment. Let us know what other areas of the market are you curious about right now.